Welcome to the Cubbie Corner here on SouthBendCubs.com. I'm South Bend Cubs broadcaster Brendan King, and on today's episode, we will welcome in Chicago Cubs pitching prospect Justin Steele from the 2019 Cubs Convention. Before we get to the interview, want to remind everybody that South Bend Cubs individual game tickets and Midwest League All-Star Game tickets are on sale now. Yes, they went on sale recently, and you can buy them by visiting SouthBendCubs.com, coming to Four Winds Field by visiting the box office, or by calling 574-235-9988. Secure your seats for the 2019 regular season and also the Midwest League All-Star Game. Here's Justin Steele on the Cubbie Corner. Let's get right into it. You were a former South Bend Cub.
Yep.
2016, a pretty stacked team with Eloy Jimenez.
Yep.
James Norwood was on that team as well. But you were just a 20-year-old.
Yeah,
and we were talking off the air that you have said you've only seen snow 4 times, and one of it you had to pitch in. Is that right?
Yeah, I've seen snow about 4 times in my life, and one of them was the worst, and I had to pitch in it. It was rough. Like a little boy from South Mississippi ain't never pitched in no snow before, so it was a little rough.
And what's that experience like trying to grip the ball? I know you said a pickoff move went wrong.
I couldn't feel the ball. Like, I seriously could not feel the ball in my hand. My hand was so numb, and I tried to pick off first, and I just sailed it. I threw it, and I was like, I had no idea where that was going when I threw it.
Well, it's a chilly night at Cubs Convention here.
Yeah.
I think, well, if it snows, there might be 7 or 10 inches of snow on the way, so we'll see about that.
I'm
are you
honestly
staying here
ready
tonight?
to see it. I'm honestly ready to see it. I'm excited.
As long as you're inside, you'll be okay.
Yeah.
But again, in 2016, 77 in the third innings with South Bend, 76 strikeouts as a 20-year-old. Now, just tell me about that year and things you remember about being successful at Four Winds.
Honestly, that year in South Bend, if I had one thing to say about it, it was probably the most important year of my learning career, because I learned more in that year than I did in any other career, because that was any other year, because that was the first year I actually struggled. I saw adversity, and you're not going to learn until you start failing, because you learn from failure. So, I mean, once I got to South Bend, I started failing a lot. I started learning more, and that I got better more in that year than I had any other year, for sure.
And since then, a good year in Myrtle Beach, and then this past year, as we just mentioned, you're coming off an injury, had to rehab a little bit. What was that process like, trying to come back from Tommy John?
I mean, going into it, I had a really good year in South Bend right before I tore it. And, I mean, the mindset going into it, I was thinking I had the surgery in August, thinking like, man, I was so close to going home. I was so close to seeing my family. But you kind of have to get your mind out of that mindset and think like, what, it's time to work, like I got to get better. Like, I'm hurt right now, but I need to come back next season ready. And I want the Cubs to be able to use me at some point, like you got to be able to put your mind in the right place, especially during rehab, because it's the off season, but you're still working. Like, you gotta do shoulder work, you gotta do workouts. I would say that off season was the hardest I've ever worked, because I knew I had some time to catch up on.
Since the surgery, a lot of times guys coming back from Tommy John surgery will see a little boost in their fastball. Has that happened to you in anywhere? Has the surgery helped pitches in any form? I
would say it definitely made my arm stronger. I mean, you do so much shoulder work, and you're not throwing while you're doing that shoulder work, so your arms are going to just naturally build up strength. So, I mean, I would say I'm coming off of Tommy John, I'm the strongest I've ever been, but I'm also very young at the same time. So, I mean, you meet your strongest points at different times, but I would say my strongest point in my career so far has been at that time, because I was right out of a season working really hard, and then I just had to keep working hard because I had to go right into surgery. And I had to start my rehab process right away. So, I mean, I would say at that point I was, at the top of my game. I was working every day. That's just what you got to do during a rehab process.
Now, coming back from that to focus on a little bit outside of the game, I understand you're pretty big video games guy. You could check out your Twitter. I think you have in your bio as well.
Yeah.
What are your go-to video games on the road?
On the road, it'd probably be Fortnite, because a lot of teammates, a lot of teammates play Fortnite, and they want to play Fortnite with me because I get them easy dubs. Just how it goes.
Squads or duos or?
Doesn't matter. You put me in a game, I'm gonna give you the best chance to win it.
Which one do you have more dubs in?
Oh, squads, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
I have over like 700 wins in squads, something like that. And
700?
Yeah, and I play like.
I have 2.
And I play by myself too. Like, I play like squads by myself.
And so you don't even know these people.
Like, I don't even know them. I just play by myself, and like I'll win it by myself sometimes.
So, I really hope baseball works out for you. But if not, maybe the next.
It's always there.
Yeah.
I mean,
those guys make a ton of money.
You can ask my mom. I've been practicing since I was like 12 years old.
His family's watching right over there.
Yeah, I've been practicing for quite some time now.
There you go, Chris Hagstrom with
She used to get mad at me because I wouldn't do homework.
Well,
But she knew it was important.
Around that time, it would have been what, the PS2 or
No,
360?
that would have been PS3, PlayStation 3. My freshman and sophomore year of high school was probably when I was biggest into it. I mean, I wasn't even good at baseball at that point. Like, I was good at video games. That's what I was doing.
Well, you always have that to fall back on.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, man, I'm not gonna make it in this baseball thing. I'm gonna have to fall back on video games. So that was kind of the plan at that point.
Back to the Cubs. So added to the 40-man roster. How much does that mean to you?
It meant the world, man. I mean, especially coming off of like a big rehab year, you know. Going into this season knowing it was my Rule 5 year, it was a huge year for me. And for most of the year, you know, I'm going to be on the bench, you know, like rehabbing, you know, trying to get better. And the fact that I was able to come back as fast as I did, as strong as I did, you know, is like just with as much surge as I did. You know, I had a lot of attention on me. I went back into Myrtle Beach, had like 4 starts there, you know, did what I had to do. Then went to Tennessee for 2 starts, you know, showed what I had there. And then I went to the Fall League, and then I mean, after that, got added to the 40-man. I mean, it was one of the best feelings of my life. But, I mean, I hope there's a lot more better feelings to come very soon. I mean, that's the plan, you know.
Well, and absolutely. I mean, you saw the fan reaction tonight. Tonight was one of your first public autograph signings here at Cubs Convention. Just wrapped up a few minutes ago here in the Ohio room. How did that go? Meeting fans of all kinds.
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, what I heard was it was a random. It was like a random signing, so it was bringing in a random player. So I saw the line walking into it. I'm like, these guys are thinking they're getting Chris Bryant or something, not a minor.
But they knew it was you. They were
yeah,
coming
they knew
in
it was
saying,
me.
"Hi,
They
Justin."
knew it was
Yeah.
me. I was very surprised. I had a lot of baseball cards. They knew they were calling me by my first name. I was very impressed. It was really cool.
What was the most interesting thing you think you signed?
There was a guy that came in and said he was a Georgia fan, and I was saying Roll
That's
Tide.
right.
I was saying Roll Tide.
That was the start of it. That was
felt
pretty funny.
so bad because, I mean, Georgia should have been in the playoffs probably.
Well, probably at the end of the day, but
Because especially the way Alabama looked in that national championship game. I'm a diehard Bama fan since Nick Saban's been there. That's the worst I've ever seen Alabama.
well, Clemson,
Georgia would have done better against Clemson. I think,
Clemson's claiming
that night.
Dabo Swinney's claiming that's the best college football team ever.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah,
They look
well,
very good.
and without the
But
defensive
also at
line,
the
too,
same
this has
time,
gone into a football talk.
Being a diehard Bama fan, as bad as Clemson beat them, I still say this: if they played 10 times, I think Bama wins 6 times.
I agree.
6 out of 10 times. I think they're
And a
better
healthy Tua.
Yeah, exactly. I think if you put the teams together, they play 10 times. I think Bama wins 6.
That's Justin Steele. The guy plays video games. The guy throws heat. Talks about football. You got
no
3 good
football.
options there.
No football. I was raised in it.
3 good options there. Justin Steele, thanks for joining us on
No,
Facebook
thank you.
Live, my
I
man.
appreciate it.
Thanks a lot to Justin for joining us at the 2019 Cubs Convention. A really fun interview. That kid certainly has a bright future. Before we go, again, a reminder, South Bend Cubs individual game tickets and also Midwest League All-Star game tickets are on sale now. You can come visit Four Winds Field at the box office to buy tickets or by visiting southbendcubs.com or, again, calling 574-235-9988. We would love to see you at the ballpark this year. Have a great week, everybody.